Faster than I thought she would, so I guess I'll get started. All right, good afternoon, explorers, and welcome to Basecamp. My name is Katie. I'm joined here with my friend Peter, but more importantly, who you really came to see is our friend Xena. And Xena is not a warrior princess. Everybody in the back who understands that, the kids probably don't get it. All right, so she is a Linnaeus two-toed sloth. Now we're going to talk a little bit about sloths and their natural history and some training and what's going on here and Xena's role here at the zoo. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, let's talk about the name, right? Two-toed sloth. Somebody count her toes for me. How many toes does she have?
10.
10. Okay, well, not you. You don't get to count. All right. So she has 3 toes. So there's the two-toed sloth and the three-toed sloth. So technically all sloths have 3 toes. It's the fingers that they're counting, but in the scientific world, fingers are toes. So they make it very confusing when somebody tries to get on a mic and talk about toes and fingers with a sloth. So this one has 2 toes, 3 toes, 2 fingers, and is a two-toed sloth. Okay, everybody on board? Okay, we're gonna go to the next thing. All right. Sloths, they come from the rainforests of South America, and they are one of my favorite animals to get to talk about because everybody loves a sloth, right? They're amazing creatures, they're pretty cute, and they're fun to watch. She moves a little bit faster, though, than you would expect, doesn't she? Yeah, sloths are known for being pretty slow, and usually what's going to happen is in the rainforest, they're going to find some leaves to eat, some flowers to eat, maybe some fruit and things like that. But they're going to preserve and save their energy for digesting that food. So that's why sloths are known for being so slow. Now here at the zoo, Xena has a nutritionist who makes up her diet for her. And what she's getting right now are all sorts of different treats and things like that that kind of help her to go and explore and do things. So she moves a little bit faster. Her digestive system is a little bit quicker than what her counterpart would be. So a sloth in the rainforest might only go to the bathroom every couple weeks to once a month. Here, she goes, I don't know, I guess I could just ask Anita who's driving up. She goes, what, like every 5 days or so? She goes a little more often here, but she has a little fibrous diet here at the zoo too. So now, she's pretty amazing. I want to actually talk about sloth poop. Did you guys think we were going to talk about something other than poop when you come to the zoo? Sloths are pretty funny. So this animal, let's imagine you're in the rainforest, right? And you're looking up at the trees and you're watching the sloths and they're just so slowly moving around. Well, when they have to go to the bathroom, they just don't let go from the tree. They actually will climb to the base of the tree to go to the bathroom at the base of the tree. Now, why would they do this? That doesn't make any sense, right? Where do the predators live in South America? Where are the jaguars, the ocelots, all those kind of animals? Where do they live? Anybody?
On the ground.
Thank you. I just wanted to see if anybody was listening or just watching.
Terrestrial.
Right, they're on the ground. So this animal is going to go down there and go to the bathroom. Let's say she does that twice a week or twice a month. She'll go down to the base of her tree and go to the bathroom. Now what's happening when she goes to the bathroom is she's fertilizing her tree, right? So she wants her tree to grow, to be nice, flowers, leaves, all that kind of stuff. So that poop, I'm going to see how many different ways we can call scat, feces, poop. We'll see how many I get to by the end of this program. So she's going to fertilize that tree with her feces, right? And it's going to help the tree to grow because you guys all know that's what fertilizer is, right? Everybody's aware? Okay, I just want to make sure the gardeners in here know what we're talking about. All right, but at the same time that they do that, there's actually a moth that lives in the sloth's fur. It's called a sloth moth, and it, very creative name, comes out of the sloth's fur and lays its eggs in the scat. How many different words am I up to so far, by the way, guys? 3? Just 3? Okay, I gotta change it. I'm just kidding. We won't say the 4-letter one. All right, so the moth comes out of the fur and lays its eggs in the sloth's droppings. And then when those eggs hatch, they carry the minerals and elements from that up into the sloth's fur, and it creates algae. Have you guys ever seen a picture of a sloth in the rainforest, how they're kind of this greenish color? Well, they get that greenish color from all of that humidity, the rain, and the sloth moth that lives in the fur. And so now the sloth is camouflaging, and it's got like this really cool refrigerator snack pack on its back. It can eat that algae if it gets really hungry or something like that. But it's also going to help them to camouflage in that rainforest. And that's really what sloths are going to rely on, is camouflaging and moving slow. So these guys are a food source for so many different animals in the rainforest, but that moving slow and camouflaging is really what's going to protect them. Now, Xena here is 12 years old, and she is part of our SSP program, our Species Survival Plan. Have you guys heard of that yet as you're visiting the zoo? The Species Survival Plan, has anybody taken the bus tour? Heard about it a little bit? All right, so Xena kind of has an interesting story of how she got here. I was lucky enough, I got to work with Xena when she first came in. I actually worked with Xena's parents when they first got here. So what happened was somebody was trying to bring sloths into the country illegally, and they were confiscated, and they were brought to the zoo. And one day, we didn't know Mom was pregnant, but one day we went in, and there was a sloth in the habitat. Well, a third sloth, I should say. There were already sloths. There was a third one in there. And so we started working with Mom. Mom didn't really like us that much, right? Because she wasn't really used to people. She hadn't been around us. So we started with training. And this is where I kind of wanted to go into that training part. And you can see Peter over here just feeding Xena and reinforcing her for doing a great job. So we started doing that with Xena's mom. So Xena's mom, the only thing she liked was purple grapes. You could not show up with a green grape. She would not take it. She only wanted a purple grape. So it got to the point, every time I'd go in there, I'd give Mom a purple grape. I'd start touching Xena and give Mom a purple grape. It got to the point where I went in, Mom would come out, she'd present, I'd take the baby, she'd take her purple grape, and she'd be like, okay, bye. Babysitters are here. I'm gonna go take a nap. Sloths sleep about 18 to 20 hours out of the day. So I think Mom was very excited to catch up on some sleep and let us do a little bit of the work. So Xena became sloth by night and ambassador by day. She's like Bruce Wayne, right? She had things to do. So she learned how to be an ambassador and come out and do programs like this. But she also learned all things slothiness from her mom. Now, what are all things slothiness? Well, it's eating, sleeping, and camouflaging. And that's about it. It takes Mom about 5 to 6 months to teach their babies, and then they say, okay, you're welcome, get out. I need to go find that gentleman friend again. So off they go. So at that point, Xena came, at the time we were the children's zoo, to live with us full time. And we started working with her a little bit more in this kind of work and doing this. Now the problem was me, right? Have you guys, anybody here ever trained sloths before? No? Over there? I see one hand in the back went up. Okay, but that's just my boss. He doesn't count. All right. So if you've ever trained a sloth, especially a baby sloth, when you put him down, oh, you're so silly, Xena. Has anybody heard the sound a baby sloth makes by chance? Well, it sounds like they're saying, Mom. So when we'd put her in her habitat, she'd go, Mom. And I was like, oh, yes, how can I help? And I'd go back and hang out with the sloth. So you can ask my boss. I didn't get much work done at the time. I was hanging out with the sloth too much and taking her everywhere we went because she made that sound and I couldn't deal with it. So I would just go with the sloth. Well, that being said, Xena learned a few bad habits from me. One, she doesn't like to hold her own food. That's why Peter has to break off the lettuce and hand it to her. But since then, and she also learned that she can just groom herself in front of everybody. It's totally fine. No embarrassment. All right, so she doesn't like to hold her own food. So as that, we learned from Xena, and we learned to work with them a little bit differently, kind of making them pick up their own food and hold it and feed themselves. And Xena has actually had, how many babies have we had now? 3. She has had 3 babies of her own, and she is a fabulous mother and a wonderful ambassador, and all 3 of her babies have grown up to become ambassadors themselves that can hold their own food. I just wanted to say we learned that, and so we improved on that behavior as they went on. All right. Well, Xena, she's doing a great job sniffing and smelling. You guys, sloths actually don't have very good eyesight. So when you look at their face, their pupils, their eyes are very, very tiny. But they have that big nose. So she explores most of her world with her sense of smell. So you might see her smelling the rope or smelling the branch, just seeing who was here before her, checking out where her food is. So she explores her world kind of in that manner with smell. Now we're going to let her roam around here, climb around, hang out, whatever you want to call it. But I'd be more than happy to answer any questions, because I usually feel like there's a lot of questions about sloths, right? So we can answer any questions anybody might have about sloths.
Okay, you can see the whole stage.
How much do you think she weighs? Usually I would never ask somebody, like, how much she weighs. Like, that's, yeah, ooh, rough. How much, 35? That is actually pretty, like, so when you look at an animal this size, that's actually the number I would say that she would weigh, 35 pounds or so. But sloths only have 20% muscle mass. They're very, very light for their size. If you spent your whole life hanging upside down, do you want to weigh very much? No. So she doesn't have very much muscle mass, so she only weighs, I'm converting to pounds because we weigh everything in kilograms. She weighs about 16, 17 pounds or so is all she weighs. She's very light for her size. She's got a lot of fur. Now, because they don't have much muscle mass, they can't do the same thing we do when we get cold, which is knit a sweater? No. She can't shiver to warm up her body. That's our muscles' way of warming us up, right? So she doesn't have enough muscle mass to do that. So we have to keep her in a nice, warm, humid environment. So she even lives back behind us in this building. That's why you're not going to see any sloths as you're traveling around the zoo. They're going to be hiding in the heat and things like that. But you guys got lucky today that we brought her out. Peter was being nice. All right, any other questions for me? Go for it.
So I heard sloths love bananas. Does she?
No. Where'd you hear that? No. I have yet to meet a sloth that likes bananas, which is weird because you would think they'd really like bananas, right? That's a fruit from where they're from. But no, the most I've ever found is a smashed banana in her fur. That's as close as I've seen to her liking a banana. And yes, I did have to wash it out.
What fruits do they like?
Well, anything but bananas. Yeah. She likes grapes a lot. Go ahead. Do they have clavicles? Yes. Peter's like, I was looking for Peter for support on this, and he was like, oh. So, okay, the difference between when you're looking at a two-toed versus a three-toed sloth. So the three-toed sloth has the mask, and they can turn their head like 180 degrees, which is creepy. Mammals shouldn't do that, right? That's a bird thing. But the two-toed sloth has anywhere like 5 to 6 vertebrae in their neck, whereas the three-toed can have like 10, 11 vertebrae in their neck. So these guys do not fit the mammal rule, right? Does anybody know how many vertebrae mammals have? All mammals? Who's at it? 7, right? Even giraffes, they have 7, except for sloths.
And
they
manatees?
don't fit the rule.
Manatees are an exception to that.
Manatees too? Okay, he says manatees too, but I don't work with manatees, so I haven't looked it up. So yeah, their vertebrae are different, which she has to turn her body to like check out. She can turn her head a little bit, but she can't turn it, but that doesn't answer your I'm just avoiding the questions, I don't know. Oh, yeah. I think if we shaved her down, you might be able to see a little bit more there, but we're not going to do that. All right, any other? Yes?
We're missing on the back from leaning on the...
Yeah, have you ever like spent a little too much time in bed and it really messes up your hair? Yeah, that's just bed head. That's all it is. Yeah, she's got a little bed head on the back. Usually sloths will find a like nice little nook in a tree, and that's kind of where they'll sleep, and she does the exact same thing, and so she's just got a little bed head on the back. Yes.
I heard something about their hands are different from ours.
With you and hearing things.
That's how you ask loaded questions.
I know you're asking loaded questions, but you can't ask loaded questions that I'm not going to know the answers to.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
So a person has to think about closing their hand, right? Mm-hmm. But a sloth has to think about opening it.
Yeah.
didn't
I've
know that?
never been asked that question.
Really? Because that's how they. Because like so other times they say like they've found
She coming back?
sloths that have passed that are still hanging.
Oh yeah. So that is, I don't know, but yes, I believe you because you Google a lot of things.
Or they-
and you
other
probably
people
know-
say it.
Or other people say it. I haven't heard it. I didn't say it. Did you say it? Oh, Peter said it. So I believe
Others
it
do too.
Others.
At the 2 o'clock as well. So.
Oh, okay. So yes, that's true. But I
Okay.
will tell you, here's something I do know about a sloth hand, is that their bone actually grows into their nails. So that nail, as you see her hooking it around, it is very, very strong. And so climbing and hanging like this is pretty much effortless for them. It's very, very easy for them. Did you have a question too?
Yeah, what's
Were you going to say something about her hand that I don't know the answer to? Okay, go ahead.
what's your average lifespan?
Average lifespan, very good question. So for her, I hope it's forever because I really like her and I've worked with her a long time. But they say in managed care, sloth can live up to 30 plus years.
Wow.
So she's 12. Now that being said, you know, when you're in the rainforest and you have predators and you can break a bone or get injured, you know, something like that, a lot of times that life expectancy is not that long, right? It's probably going to be 12 to 15 years in a rainforest setting. But luckily, what a mess. She didn't even put that in her mouth. But here at the zoo, we have veterinarians on call 24 hours a day. We have nutritionists. She has room service. We have exercise program managers. We have all kinds of things going on. So a lot of times their life expectancy doubles or triples here. So hopefully forever. Yeah?
That example of being a mess, babies have teeth within like a week.
Wow.
And they're eating solid foods that quickly because mom's very messy.
Yes. So what she does, if you watch her, because she's hanging upside down, that baby does stay on mom's chest. Her nipples are kind of on the side there. But she'll drop food as she's eating onto her chest, and then the baby will come along and eat that food that's been dropped. And all that bacteria, so I didn't mention this, but you do not ever want to get bit by a sloth. They have a lot of bacteria in their mouth. When you move this slow, everything's a little slow, right? So there's a lot of bacteria that can build up in their mouth. Her teeth are pretty gross. She doesn't brush them. And so that bacteria, when the baby eats it, it helps to supply their gut biome and the things that they need. So it's very, very important that the baby cleans up after mom too. All right, well, you guys, okay, yes, more questions.
Speaking of like doctors and veterinarians,
Mhm.
so what happens with the flock when it comes to like a doctor's check? Do they have to be in this position?
Ooh, very good question. All right, so all of our animals get checkups,
Scratchy.
right? And we partake in a lot of training. So we do training so that the animals can partake in their husbandry, what we call husbandry care. So Xena is actually trained to let us do ultrasounds on her, so we can watch the growth of that baby and things like that. So we have her set up. Yes, we have a setup. We build. Peter builds setups. I don't build them. So she can hang out, and we can do an ultrasound while somebody's feeding from the front end. We train our animals to partake in injections or blood draws or anything that they're going to need, so that they can get that without being anesthetized for those procedures. So she is trained for all that. And everybody gets checkups and all kinds of stuff. And she's always upside down and hanging out like this. All right, you guys, well, I'm going to go off the mic. She's probably going to be out here for a while because she's really slow. And it's kind of what we do. But I want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for being allies for wildlife. If you have any more questions, since we will be here for a little bit, please feel free to come on up, ask some questions, take some slothies. That's a selfie with the sloth. And we'll be here for a little bit as we're just, scratching away. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.